February 18th, 1962. Every time I read Clawbone's passages, I find something new. Sometimes I think the runes may actually be changing, though photographic evidence has proven that to be as ridiculous as it sounds. Only my understanding is evolving. The author of the runes intrigues me. He speaks as though his people are immortal. At first I interpreted this in a spiritual sense, like heaven or the Hindu concept of nirvana. But the stories he tells are not those of souls that have moved on. He speaks of living beings carrying out mundane yet utopian lives. They're real. What if these writings are meant literally? What if his people, who have found a way to send Clawbone's words across the barriers between the worlds, have also found a way to elude death itself? It sounds fantastic, even as I write it, yet the possibility cannot be overlooked. If so, then his world may still exist. Clawbone may still exist. He writes of realms his people cannot enter, quarantined by powerful guardians and ancient codes. I believe our world is similarly quarantined, hence the runes rather than a personal visit. But what if we could reach him? What if we could speak to Clawbone himself? Dr. Yurik Harsgaard. October 31st, 1960. Astounding. The runes are a history, even a kind of instruction manual. The author, whose runic name can be best translated as Clawbone, seems to have been a kind of missionary from his own country, and the runes his epistle. He speaks of the perfection of his home country, a land without sickness, pain, suffering, or sorrow, a land even without death. I can only assume he is speaking about an ancient form of heaven. I have tried to teach others to decipher the runes, but all my efforts have been in vain. They cannot see the patterns I see, and some even claim I am delusional. I had not thought myself much more intelligent than the other scientists, but perhaps I was wrong. In any case, I proved my methods beyond doubt when I used the ruby lens to decipher the door's passcode. As a result, Commander Neville has put me on deciphering the runes full-time. It is my project now. Dr. Yurik Harsgaard. October 3rd, 1960. I am certain the runes are of Earth origin. But if so, they represent a proto-language, older than any known human civilization. There are elements of Egyptian hieroglyphics alongside variations of Elamite and even Sumerian logograms. This is a linguistic marvel, evidence that these languages are not isolates, but may have originated from a single source common to all language. As a result, deciphering the runes is just a matter of time, possible if non-trivial. It is also evidence that the author of these runes is very old and advanced for their time. We are unable to date the structures themselves, but I suspect they are tens, perhaps hundreds of thousands of years old. This goes against everything we thought we knew. We must learn more. Dr. Yurik Harsgaard. August 1st, 1961. Has anyone seen the ketamine? I swear we had 100 cc's a few days ago. Ketamine, Owens, and you. Never mind. Found the ketamine. Owens had it. By the way, Owens is fired, and all future access to the medical storage locker has to go through Chief Simpkin. Thanks, hippies. This is why we can't have nice things. Dreamer movements in Ward 2. Gaston's been shifting in his chair, even under sedation. Schleiermacher is concerned the dreamer's brain is rejecting the World Stone connection. Should we increase his dosage? Please advise. Reply, Dreamer movement in Ward 2. Do not increase sedation. Harsgaard does not want to lose any dream lucidity. He suggests, however, that we strengthen Gaston's restraints. Dr. Lim, please see that this is done. Dr. Simpkin. February 7th, 1963. I just read the reports regarding Ward 1. Did these meds ever get to Ward 1? In hindsight, it seems like we could have prevented an awful tragedy. Reply, February 7th, 1963. I'm not sure. They say what happened in Ward 1 wasn't depression, but some kind of contagion. They sealed the whole thing up, bodies and all. Reply, February 7th, 1963. Bodies and all? Then what were they carting out the other night? They looked like bodies to me, though it was difficult to tell with the lights out. September 30th, 1962. Be advised that after the incident in Ward 2, Harsgaard has changed his mind, increased sedation dose in all remaining dreamers, effective immediately, and double the restraints. Antidepressant request. November 29th, 1962. Dr. Schleiermacher has asked about the availability of antidepressants for him and his team. Does anyone know if that's something we can provide? Dr. Lim. Reply antidepressant request. Antidepressants are in the storage locker. Only the chief has access. You'll need permission from Harsgaard or at least Weisskopf if you want them. Note on Ward 1. As part of a quarantine operation in Ward 1, several pieces of expensive equipment were taken for disinfection, examination, and reuse in the other wards. Nothing else was removed from the ward before it was sealed. Human Resources plans to hang a memorial plaque on the site in honor of our now buried colleagues. Please remember that public speculation on this or any other Ward Prime incident is unprofessional and potentially dangerous. We understand that discussion of the tragedy is unavoidable, but it is inappropriate to voice untenable conjecture on this or any other public terminal. Thank you for your understanding in this delicate matter. Dr. Harsgaard. Watcher sedation, June 12, 1961. June 12, 1961. Harsgaard and Schleiermacher say Katrine's conscious thought is getting in the way of connecting to the World Stone. They've asked me to look into sedation possibilities, though I'm not sure how that will work if they want to record conscious observations. Maybe dream imagery? I'll have Dr. Lim look into it. His thesis was on drugs that enhance dream lucidity. That might be the key. 4th of July, 1961. Forced to work on the 4th of July. Harsgaard's got a bug up his ass about these dreamers. All right, Schleiermacher, and most of the rest of them too. I should have known secret military project meant secretly bulldozing workers' rights. At least I get overtime. Medical storage. Apparently, one of the attendants has been using their off hours for recreational ketamine use. Now all access to medical storage has to go through me. Fantastic. This is how bureaucracies happen, people. Gaston's restraints. September 8th, 1962. September 8th, 1962. The Ward 2 dreamer has shown signs of mild wakefulness. Mild limb movement is normal, as far as we understand what normal means for this kind of experimental sedation. But some of the team want his sedation increased. Harsgaard, on the other hand, refused. Instead, he ordered Gaston's restraints to be tightened with no dosage change at all. I'm not sure I understand what the restraints are even for. Is Harsgaard worried Gaston might walk in his sleep? Antidepressants for Weisskopf. Dr. Lim has requested antidepressants for Katrine's team. I talked to Sebastian, who I understand has interviewed several of them and knows their psychological state better than anyone, and received his approval. Not 10 minutes later, Harsgaard came into my office and asked me not to approve any medication. He said he feared the medication might negatively impact Ward 1's ability to focus, even after I assured him it would do no such thing, at least not in the dosage I plan to prescribe. I didn't even know Dr. Harsgaard was aware of the request. He's a smart man. I can't imagine why he would be against this. Dr. Harsgaard's orders for Ward 1, February 8, 1963. February 8, 1963. In light of Brummer's death and Schleiermacher's quarantine, I feel I need to put this on record, especially now that I reread my previous log entry. I asked Harsgaard if I could examine the bodies from the Ward 1 incident. To my surprise, he refused, ordering me to seal the entire ward to avoid any possible contagion. A wise enough order, and I obeyed, but this morning several bodies were delivered to us with strict orders to keep the bags locked up and on ice. We were told they were soldiers and that any other information was classified. I looked up their names and ranks. They don't exist, so where did the bodies come from? I don't have enough evidence to file an official report, and given Harsgaard's influence at the top, I'm afraid to do so, but I'm worried about how much he may know, or may even be engineering. What has happened in the first 3 wards? Maybe I'm writing this for my own conscience then. I don't know. February 9th, 1963. Alas, I will never have that conversation with Schleiermacher, at least not in the manner I hoped. The man has become unhinged, but he has definitely seen Clawbone. The notes of the late Dr. Brunner provide some insight into what happened in Ward 1. Although their dreamer had not bonded to any guardian in a proper sense, Clawbone or something similar was trying to speak through the dreamer to the scientists of the ward. Their minds could not handle this contact, and it manifested as an advanced form of nihilism that led to the deaths of many. Why have I not been affected in this way? Perhaps because I've read the runes. I've seen Clawbone's society, a vision of what ours could be. Or perhaps I have not been affected for the same reason I alone seem to be able to decipher the runes. Cessation is equality, serenity among ashes. These words were in Dr. Brunner's final notes. He interpreted them existentially, based on the Darwinian assumption that survival is the ultimate goal, and cessation, therefore, is evil. It drove him insane. But that is not how I read these words at all. This incident makes one thing at least very clear. When we have perfected the Dreamers, when we finally speak with Clawbone, I must be the one to speak to him. Urich. June 24th, 1968. Based on the lack of response, I assume this computer is used for logging purposes rather than communication. That's unfortunate. I've been down here for 3 days now with no contact, so I may as well log my own report. I was part of a fire team sent to clear hostiles from the lower levels. We encountered heavy resistance and were forced to retreat. In doing so, I got separated from my team and took shelter here. Unfortunately, now the door won't budge. I'm trapped. There's plenty of food, so survival shouldn't be a problem. I expect they'll find me after the invasion has been contained. Until then, I'll continue working at the door, listening for signs of activity and maintaining a state of readiness. Private Torres, out. June 28th, 1968. To be honest, the date of this report is just a guess. I've slept 5 times since the last log, but I have no way of knowing how much time has actually passed. I haven't heard any activity outside the door. I've spent most of my time keeping in shape and investigating my surroundings. It looks like they mix drugs for the Dreamers in here. I also found a fuse abandoned behind a cabinet. It appears functional and may even be the reason the door won't work. But I've been unable to find any circuit breakers that need it. I'll keep looking. That's all I have to report, I guess. I'm safe for now. I'm grateful, but I hope they find me soon. I'm getting antsy for someone to talk to. July 2, 3. I've lost track of the date. Sorry. I'm certain I'm staying awake longer than normal, probably sleeping longer too. Who knows? I heard noises outside today, howling and gunfire. I slammed on the door, shouting as loud as I could, but no one came. Then the screaming started. It got real quiet after that. Still safe, I guess, but I might be stuck in here longer than I expected. Much later. I have no idea how much time has passed. I'm basically just typing in this thing for something to do. No one's come. It's completely quiet outside the door. Jerry thinks they forgot about us, or maybe they're all dead. The roots in here are growing faster. I can't see them growing or anything. I just swear they're getting bigger. I'm kind of scared to go near them. I still got food, and Jerry, so that's something. At least I'm not alone. Bored. I think I'm starting to go nuts. We're running out of ways to pass the time. We've played scavenger hunts, Mad Libs, charades, hide and seek. It's totally unfair how good Jerry is at that one. I even taught Jerry the drumline to I Can See for Miles, but that got old after the 30th repetition. Jerry thinks we should try some of the drugs in here. I told him he's crazy. Who knows what that would do to us? Heard some noise outside, growling, chittering, maybe even speaking. Couldn't make out any words though. There was some scratching at the door. I banged on it and yelled, "Why the hell not, right? Open is open, even if I have to fight my way out," but whoever was out there went away. That was like 7 sleeps ago. Hell, maybe I hallucinated it. I miss other people. Scientific investigations. Poked at the roots today. Thought I saw something glowing underneath, so I got a scalpel and cut into them. I didn't get very far. They wouldn't stop screaming. I shouldn't be surprised. The same thing happened with the walls the other day. In which Jerry wins. Stopped counting sleeps after like 40, or was it 60? Don't much matter. Started on the drugs today. We'll go easy at first. Maybe that Gaston's cocktail or whatever mentioned in the earlier logs. Dream lucidity sounds like a gas. Gaston's Cocktail. October 1962. Dr. Simpkins suggests that the dreamer Gaston's breakdown can be at least partially attributed to the solution he was given. Before more dreamers are connected, we'll need to test several different compounds, decreasing the amount of galantamine as much as we can without losing dream lucidity. Please advise Dr. Harsgaard that all dreamer experiments should be put on hold until we find the appropriate values. I would also like to note again that I found Weisskopf's reactor code, this time penciled into the ceiling above this workstation. Someone needs to confront him about this. If there had been a security inspection, we could all have had our clearances revoked. Thank you. Reactor security. I talked to Weisskopf a few weeks ago and I haven't seen any codes since. Either he took the hint and actually memorized the damn thing, doubt it, or he's hidden it in his office somewhere. So long as it's only his career that's in danger, I guess. Ward 1 Contagion. February 1963. Upon further investigation into the Ward 1 problem, I believe the methamide and oxycane levels were unbalanced, leading to electrical fields far beyond the normal range. Dr. Harsgaard agreed that the correct balance must be found before reconnecting Ward 4. However, he also asked me to look into what it would take to increase the field range even further. He assured me it was strictly scientific and that whatever cocktail I came up with would never be used on human subjects. But why do it then? Do we have an ethics committee I can discuss this with?
Assistance required. This is Private Benjamin Torres. I'm trapped alone inside the medical lab facility in the lower levels of Ward Prime. If anyone can read this, please send assistance immediately.
June 22nd, 1968. The situation worsens outside, and the General has requested my help in stemming the tide of this infection. Very well. While awaiting a specimen from my displacement experiments, I have run some tests on small pieces of the crystals in an attempt to safely destroy them. I believe aggressive harmonic might do the trick, not only shattering the crystal, but also disrupting the coupling between the torsion and Dirac spinors, thus crumbling the Einstein-Rosen bridge. External pressure means I don't have as much preparation time as I would like before conducting field tests. The fool wants results. Well then, I shall give them some. Ward Prime has already been fully compromised. It should be an ideal location for this test. Whatever the outcome, it will prove most informative. Dr. Leto Apostolakis. June 26, 1968. Success. The harmonic frequencies allowed the formation of a gravitational singularity, resulting in the spectacular collapse of both the crystal and much of the surrounding structure. Unfortunately, more work needs to be done before attempting to destroy the other crystals. The General will no doubt whine about the damage and potential loss of life should we extend this procedure to other wards. Those particular gripes are irrelevant, however. We are already at the drastic measure phase. At this point, any loss of life is worth it to contain the infection. No, the real reason we cannot proceed is what the crystal left behind. I had hypothesized that the crystal would be shattered into glitter or vaporized entirely, but neither was the case. At the center of the singularity, where the crystal had once stood, there is now what I believe to be a stable, possibly traversable Lorentzian wormhole. Unfortunately, it was too risky to get a closer look so soon after the field test. I need more time to determine the nature of this anomaly and the new dangers it may present. Until those dangers have been properly assessed, I'm unwilling to move forward with the destruction of other crystals lest we make things even worse than they are. For now, my time is best served back in my lab. I must better understand the nature and utilization of the crystals so that I can return to the conundrum of destruction better equipped. My lab work may also help us in other ways. There's so much to learn. If only I could duplicate myself. Dr. Leto Apostolakis.